Ooh, it's Friday. It's Friday. Welcome to that Real Estate Unwrapped. Yeah, it's Real Estate Unwrapped. It's Real Estate Unwrapped. We're about to mix it up.
Good morning.
Good morning, everybody.
Was it sexy or creepy? Which one was it?
I was thinking creepy.
Of course, Israel would say creepy. I would say sexy.
I was saying creepy because look, the reason I was looking creepy, it is daytime. This is not that late night
You
kind
had
of music.
the Quiet Storm voice.
Yeah. Quiet storms in the daytime.
I'm working. I'm working on that voice. That's what it is. I'm getting it ready for the weekend. It's Labor Day weekend.
Yeah, it's a big weekend, guys. Yeah. Anything special you guys are planning to do?
Yes, I'm gonna go get in tune with the wild and nature. I'm going camping.
Nice.
I'm working.
You're working.
So,
Yeah.
Well, you just came back from a nice vacation. Right?
Yeah. I need to catch up. There's a lot of things I need to catch up on. A lot of things, a lot of goals that I need to finish up. So I'm definitely have a couple clients that have been reaching out to me for a while. So you need to say what's up to them and go from there. Hopefully
I've been working a bit, but I haven't seen my kids since August 7th.
Wow.
So, yeah, I know.
August
It's a long
7th,
time.
It's time to see them. Absolutely.
I'm going to see my parents next month.
Nice.
Can't wait. Flying to Florida.
know.
It's actually my sister's son, so my nephew. He's turning 1, so we're gonna go
Oh, it's a
celebrate.
big one. You can't miss this
So
one.
that's in 2 weeks or a week and a half. I don't even know.
Is that the
So, yeah.
cutie we've seen on Facebook?
Yes,
Yeah.
Malachi. It's my little guy. Love
Yeah.
that dude.
All
Every
right.
time I see him, he's just
Yeah,
hands up.
great. I love it. This is great. Yeah.
That is
It's gonna be
amazing.
fun.
All right. So today, I think it's a natural progression to the things we've been discussed lately. Like trying to brush on super important skills. If you guys agree with me, we're going to talk about real estate agents' accountability. That sounds like a super serious topic, right? But
Well, yeah, it's like one of those topics when you say lead generation, everybody's like, they're cringing. Everybody's cringing. Accountability, cringing. I don't know about that.
I know.
Time management. Ooh.
Cringing. I don't know if I can do it. It's like the kryptonite, you know what I mean? It's like the kryptonite. It's like, oh my God, I don't know if I can handle it.
So Ed, you were not there when we, when Israel and I jumped in. You missed like a couple of minutes. I was telling Israel basically, accountability is, to me, it's like at some point in your business, and I'm seeing a couple of people watching today. Thank you so much. Good morning.
Good morning.
Melody.
At some point in your business, at first you're starting up, it's very confusing, you're trying to learn everything, but at some point you need to have a degree of awareness of where you need to take your business, and that's where accountability kicks in for me. And it's not a bad word. You need to be accountable for yourself. You need to know what your business is all about. You need to know what your numbers are. You need to track your business, and you need to bring a little bit more consistency, because again, without a plan, and that's going to go back to having the business plan, doing your time management, and we talked about bite-size, actionable items. You remember, guys, and you guys are the masters at that. Automatically, you're going to have some sort of tracking of your business, even if it's for fun, but something, like you need to be aware, you need to bring consistency, you need to know how you can have certain amount of deals every month, not like having 1 month with 5 deals and the next 3 months, which is a dry desert, which is not what we want.
Right.
The floor is yours, gentlemen. That was my small intro.
Well, no, I mean the floor is ours if you think
Yeah.
about it that way. And I agree with you. Once you start off, if you're not a seasoned agent and you're pretty much, starting off, you really need to know your numbers. And you're absolutely right. Knowing your numbers is the language of your business, and this is a great way for you to audit to see exactly what you need to do. And when you look at accountabilities, there's so many different ways to look at it. When you're working out and you feel like you're not developing the muscles that you need to start getting what? A trainer to help you get to that level, right? To that level of muscularity, to the level of actually getting to, bigger muscles on your chest, whatever you need, or losing that weight, you need somebody else to help you get there, right?
Mm-hmm.
And this is where accountability for me works in the sense that when you're at that point, like Gigi said, when you're at the point that you just hit the wall, that you're not going there, that you're doing the hamster wheel situation, you need that person extra. That's just not a friend, right? But it's a person who's actually going to push you to that next level, all right, of accountability. And
Right.
I completely agree with that. So
Yeah.
I know Ed and I, we did this years ago, and I constantly try to help out as many people as I can. I'm sure after this call, I got another two more people I need to speak to as far as accountability. But the point is that I'm always trying to help out the next person get to that next level when I see that they're in a hamster wheel situation.
But you guys started with one very important component, and it's something that you cannot teach. You had the motivation. You were motivated enough to know where you wanted to take your business and each hold each other accountable. That you had. And it's something that you need. This is something within yourself. Nobody is going to give you skills on motivation. If you're not motivated from the get-go, if you don't have that grit, that desire, you can have as much accountability as you want.
Yeah, and I agree.
So
And you
you
could
need to
definitely
have the
plug
degree
into
of
it.
motivation.
Absolutely, you need to have motivation. You have the mindset as well for it. You
Yeah.
know,
And
Yeah.
if,
and
like, for me, I needed coaching. I'm almost like ready to start again. And I think
Nice.
it's in periods where I'm like, okay, I'm good, but I'm falling off track because,
mhm.
like, right now I have a whole different um format in working. I do have a partner, and it's like sometimes it's a lot of last minute things, and I'm not happy with this. I want to be able to have my time blocks, and I want it to be respected. And it's on me to respect my own time.
Right.
It's not on my partner. It's not on nothing. So it's on me to get back to the basic. Will I need a coach? Maybe. I will try by myself and see where it's going. And if I can't accomplish it, I'll pay somebody, $1,000 a month or whatever, and see if they can help me go to the next level. Because it's so always about going to the, like once you reach this threshold, then you want to, I guess you want to progress, right? To
Yeah.
me, it's more of a challenge than anything. It's not about the money. It's about where I can push myself, what other part of the business I can explore without losing what I've been doing in production,
Yeah.
whether it's investing, whether it's helping other agents coming into this business, to be explored,
Yeah.
to be
I think
explored.
what helps me in a way of it's literally breaking it down into that bite-sized goal. You know what I mean? And to touch on that, and what Israel said as far as working out. So these are things that I've been trying to implement in my life, and it's something that I think we should all do. Not necessarily just. I know we're speaking real estate, but if we were to speak a little truth, this is it. This should be implemented in your entire life and everything that you do. You know what I mean? From work, from relationship building, from being a husband, wife, daughter, son, whatever the case is. This is how you should try to implement that. It's taking it one step at a time. It's doing these little things. And I like what you said, Israel, as far as the fitness, because that's a journey that I jumped on with
But
Priscilla in
it's
February.
interrelated,
It is. It's all interrelated. And
like
the thing is about it is what I will say is, and we're talking about clearly holding your end of the deal, right? That's
Mhm.
what this basically is. You're holding up your end of the bargain. And I seem
yeah,
to find it easier when I have a crew or a team of individuals or some coworkers or some partners to work out with. Why? Because that's where the motivation begins. So if you're out there by yourself, the first tip I would give you is find that team to be around them. Find
Right.
those individuals to get around them, right? The office is open. Our office is open. We open up the office. Gigi's there right now. I'm sure there's Hamlet tends to pop into that office almost every single day. He's hammering away,
You know
right?
what he's doing? He's doing
He's making
the
his
thing
calls.
that needs to, for you to not fall off track
Yeah,
is he's prospecting.
that's
That's
what
what
he's
he's
doing.
doing. Always prospecting.
Yeah.
You know,
If you don't,
I'm not, yeah. You need
if
to
you feel
bring
like
it
you're,
to the next level by tracking. And now,
yeah,
100%.
basically, right? But the thing is that that's what he's doing. He's doing what everybody says: throw mud on the wall and see what sticks, right? That's it. So he's hammering away. So he's now creating his own motivation, right? You see what's happening? He created
Yeah.
his own motivation. So tying back into fitness, same thing, right? I didn't want to do it when I jumped into it in February. I didn't want to go every single day. I didn't want to go, but it
But
was a habit
somehow
that was
you wanted
developed.
to change something. So
Yes,
even though you didn't want to go, you had that
correct.
motivation
But
there already.
that's something that, again, bite-sized goal, right? Relaying it back to the business. It's a bite-sized
Mhm.
goal. It's oh my God, I have to make 100 contacts. Yes, but you don't have to make it all in one day. 100 contacts can easily be broken down into whatever you want it to be, right? What
Mhm.
is your goal? And
Right.
when you finally have that written down and you know what it is that you want, then at that point you're gonna break that goal down into bite sizes, right? So that's what it was for me. I needed to get back on the grind. That's all it was,
Mhm.
right? And what do we always say? After 21 days, it becomes a
It's a
habit.
habit. Yeah.
Absolutely.
So I did it for 21 days. And remember, this is back in February, and you see it and you're going, and there's gonna be moments in our business, right? Where, like, Hamlet's making his calls. I don't know what happens afterwards. He gets listings, he's doing his thing, he has appointments, and that's great. But like every single one of us, as we're going through that, there's moments in time where we're pushing through and we feel like nothing's happening,
Right.
right? So what's going to help you at that point is, again, getting back around the team, going back to square one, back to the basics. Who's in the office? Who can I get around? Who can kind of get me in that mode that I need to be in? Because we can't always do it by ourselves.
Yeah.
Even if
And
we
then
Absolutely.
try.
again, I'm going to bring the tracking and I wanted to share because that's very important. If you track everything you do and you're going to be able to get back at it, you have like a weekly tracking sheet and you say, I've been doing this consistently. And obviously, it's not working. And that's where you have it written down. No judgment, no nothing. I need to tweak this. I need to be doing something different. Or
Mhm.
this is not my area. I need to change stuff. What am I doing that is not bringing enough productivity into my life? It's not necessarily about the business, you
Mhm.
know. Like there
So
was this, yeah,
So pretty much, I mean, what you're saying is the person needs to always audit their business, as I've always, said over and over again. So you should audit your business, whether it's a daily, weekly, monthly, yearly, quarterly kind of thing, and keep those four questions in mind in the sense of what's working, what's not working, what should I be doing, and what am I going to do.
yeah,
If you do that consistently enough, again, daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly, yearly, you'll see how your business is actually tracking. Is it going to the green or is it going to the red?
right.
Is it staying on the red?
And
So
whatever you're doing in your business you should still be in the green with your business and with your personal life as well. Because you have to find
absolutely,
that right balance. Again, like this is where like a whole
yeah.
awareness comes
So
in.
let's
Yeah.
really blitz this out in the sense of we taught this, and there's so many things that somebody can do, right? If you're financially sound in that sense, and I agree with you, the top three things that people should do is actually one, if you feel like you're in a rut and you don't have partners to talk to, you don't have people from different states to talk to, your people to use as accountabilities, get a coach. Right? There's different
Yes.
coaches from different values that can help you get to that next level that you want to get to, right? And then one of the things that when we were reading this, in the sense of one of my favorites is now it's not always be closing. I kind of like what it said. It's always be prospecting,
Yeah.
right? So it's one of the top things in our business that actually really kills the idea of like, oh my God, I'm not doing what I need to do. if you're prospecting a certain amount of hours, you should be able to get what you need to get, right? Whether it's following up, whether it's prospecting for 2-3 hours, like Hamlet, like other people that we know that actually will prospect for hours and hours just to try to build that pipeline of information, that pipeline of clients into our database as more and more gets into effect. And it's when you prospect, obviously that's a different sort of segment that we'll get into. But the point is, it's really the following of the prospects really helps you get to that next level, right?
Yeah.
And then at the end of the day, when you look at your day, whether it's 6 o'clock, whether it's 5 o'clock, whether it's 9 o'clock, 11 o'clock at night, whatever day you do, just look at what worked for you, right? What didn't work? What should you be doing the next day around to improve your numbers? And if you see a repeated habit that turns red, then go back to the point of saying, I need somebody to push my little butt, or big, depending on how big it is, push my butt and move forward, because I can't keep going.
We talked about the 3 things were, let me go back at it. So basically, always be prospecting, which is super important.
Absolutely.
Right? Get a coach if you really need it, or get an accountability partner.
Or team.
Right? Or a team. What was the last one? Let me see.
The last one is know your numbers.
Know your numbers. Okay, absolutely. That's what I was at. Menopause brain. There you go. So this is the genesis. Yeah, everybody's gonna say, Mike Fanny, we have other guys that are getting work. They all basically, this is the genesis of all coaching. You want to use anybody else tracking sheet, you're gonna really look at it. It always comes down to they use that tracking sheet as basically an inspiration to their own. Track your number, like every day. You should be knowing how many calls, how many productive basically activity you've been doing. Bite size.
Let me hold on. Wait. Yeah. Before we go there, this is a great thing to use. Ladies and gentlemen, look at it, copy it, scan it, whatever you need to do. This is the one. Write it down, get an Excel spreadsheet. That's the one to use. Honestly, it works. Okay. But before you get there, you need a goal. Before you get there, you need something to work on, right? And honestly, when breaking that down, and Ed, I don't know if you remember when you and I had this conversation, it was about a half-hour conversation or so. Create that why. You have 3 months to go. Create that why, and why do you need to finish your year strong? Okay. When you do that, you figure out each month how many days you're going to work, right, on that month. So far, August had 31 days. The rest of them are either 30 or 31 days. How many days you're going to work within those months? After you do that, you make sure to ask yourself how many hours of those days you're actually going to do in prospecting. Okay, because that's very important. Not only the days you're working, but how many hours you're going to work in those prospecting hours.
Yeah.
Right? How many leads are you going to generate that you want to generate in those prospecting hours? How many leads are you going to take care of and try to generate in that time? Again, if lead generation becomes one of those Pee Wee Herman's, I can't handle it, I'm getting cringed, then how much business are you going to generate through that prospecting hours? Okay, that is very important for you. And then last but not few, of course, is actually how many appointments, right, are you going to have within that time frame of those days that you're working? How many are you planning to have either weekly or daily? Okay. Right. And once you have that, right, you start actually asking yourself, between listings and buyers, how many of those listings and how many of those buyers do you want to have?
Yes.
So if you look at 30 days, do you actually think you're going to work 30 days? Maybe some of us may not work 30 days. And I'm talking about September right now. So we're working 30 days, maybe not.
You're working 20 days, 21 days.
Exactly.
Max.
Some of us might only work 20 days. If you only do 3 hours of prospecting, okay, look at it that way. You're doing 3 hours of prospecting. This is how many hours you're going to prospect. So that's 60 hours of prospecting you're going to do. right? How many leads do you think you should produce on that time? 1, 2, 5, 6. Create a number that's realistic. Do not say that it's going to be 100 because honestly, it's not going to happen. Just make it
You could
small.
have
And I'm gonna,
plenty of content, plenty of
right,
like you could reach many people. It doesn't mean they're going to be quality leads. You know,
exactly. And then appointments. How many appointments you want to have? So remember, leads to appointments. How many appointments you're going to go into? Leads to how many appointments you're going to get to, and then once you get to those, how many contracts, which leads to listings or buyers that you're
for
going to work
buyers.
directly.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you create this in the beginning of the month or at the ending of this month for next month, before that month ends, what you should do, and if you need an accountability partner, is give someone that particular sheet and say, look, I need you to hold me accountable for these amount of numbers. This is my goal for this month, and I need you to hold me accountable.
You remember
And I
Mike
tell
Ferry
you,
was talking about his old broker that used to tell him,
oh my
like,
God.
please,
And this
5
is what I
of those,
remember.
make 5 copies of those. So give one to, if you're a normal office brokerage selling, give one to your manager, give one, keep one in your pocket, give one to your manager, one to your broker, leave one on your desk and put one on your fridge. Why one on your fridge? Because your whole family will know what you're trying to do, and therefore they will basically
Absolutely.
help you
And
reach it.
everybody wants to help
Yeah.
you. Everybody
So
wants to make sure you make it.
share what you're trying to do. Like share, even if it's not on a tracking sheet, you want to write it on a little 3x5 little card
Post,
thing. Go for
yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Go for it. Anything
Write
that
it
works
down.
for you.
Write it down. It works. It
Yeah.
works.
And
So
Mike Ferry was also saying that no matter what happened, we're in September 2nd, but guys, we still have time to make this year count. If you
absolutely.
know where you're going, if you have that little plan, those bite-sized goals, you're going to be able to forget about what happened earlier this year. You're going to be able to make the last September, October, November, December count and bring you into the next year like really, really strong.
Absolutely.
Right? So we're doing those small segments. They condensated. It's going to be a short segment, but make it count. Make it count.
Absolutely. And keep that in mind. Contacts, leads, appointments, contracts. This is what you need for that month, and you need somebody to hold you accountable for it. Once you do that, believe me, you're going to be as
Right.
progressive and
And
as
if
a
you
top
need a
agent that
coach,
you want to be.
hire a coach.
Hire a
Always be
coach.
prospecting. Track 3 things. Only 3, right? We said always be prospecting, track your numbers, and get an accountability partner, paid or free. That's it.
I agree. Ed, you
That's
got
it.
one? You got one you want to throw in there?
No, that was
That
you
was,
took
it's
that was
very
it.
simple. Everybody cringe about it because it's like, oh, I have to report to someone, or I'm on a team, and I gotta tell my broker, I don't like telling my broker I didn't do shit this week. I understand. So be accountable to yourself. Be a little bit introspect and say, what am I doing? Am I doing anything that I need to do? Put it down and
Yeah.
start doing. Simple. Just do it, Nike. Just do it, man.
Just do it.
Exactly. Just
Write
do
it
it.
down.
That's
I'm
it.
actually going to take that. I love that ABP thing now. I feel like putting it
Yeah.
on the back wall now. ABP, always be prospecting.
Always, you remember? But we
I love that.
always talked about it, and sometimes we forget. But it's very simple. Always be prospecting, and
Absolutely.
just know what you're doing. Track your numbers. Track your life a little bit. You want to
Absolutely.
be a little bit healthier, like Ed. Track. I was like, right
So-
now, I'm dealing with the big changes in life. Being in my late 50s. I gotta track what I'm doing, what I'm eating, what's working for me, because if I don't do it, I have to do it for myself, for my children that are grown. I want to live a long life. I'm
Yeah.
seeing that I need to make some changes. Business wise is great, but how can business be great if I'm not great?
Right. And that's
It's
important too.
all
So you just want to make sure that you're
together.
healthy. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, it's prospecting and all this other stuff may drive you insane, but at the end of the day, there's a goal. There's some good fruitful ways of what you're going to get at the end. So, and just keep in mind too, mind you, I always say contacts. are pretty much every living, breathing human beings that are out there. They're saying
Yeah.
hello to you. Um, there is that difference between quality and quantity, right? You want to keep that in mind too. So, in the sense that you really want to make sure that even though you're giving out flyers and doing door knockings, how much of that are you getting compared to being on the phone for those same amount of hours? So, like, how much of that
Or being on
really
the
is
phone with
quantity and
somebody
quantity?
you've been doing business
Right.
with, and then he's
Exactly.
ready to refer to you tons of business. If you ask, if you only ask.
If
So
you only ask, that's all it takes. So you just have to ask for business every time, pre-qualify every single person you speak to. Look, I'll qualify everybody I know, so I don't care. And if a dog spoke, I could speak to a dog. I'm gonna ask them if they can buy a house. So the point is that you need to ask every single person, no matter
yeah.
what, and what they're thinking about real estate. All right, but you know what, guys? I think we're cutting it. We're cutting it at this time. I think this was an excellent
This is
segment.
it.
This
Oh, we
is
have 5 more minutes.
amazing.
Ed, you've
Oh,
been
we could
super
do
quiet.
cartwheels or
We need
something?
to hear wisdom of Ed. 5 minutes. What's been working for
Ed, we
you?
can't hear you, Ed. Give us that wisdom.
I spoke in the beginning. I said, my bad. I was dropping gems in the beginning. So if you were here before, good. If you weren't, you missed out, and I'm not doing it again.
What was the name of your
MVP. Who's the
little
MVP?
track? I wanted to also share, and I'll put it
Well,
in the
here, look.
comments.
Let me
And if
share.
not right now,
Let me share this because I tried to share it with y'all last time, but my blur was on. But as you can see, look.
Blur.
yes,
Oh, that's the chart that I created. Yeah.
yes,
That
that
looks nice,
that
though.
one.
That
Do
still
you
looks
guys
nice.
want to share it with the world? Because that thing was so cool.
I have to
Those
look for it.
bite-sized goals that were amazing.
Yeah, so it was all broken down to a T. And like I said, I mean, look, I know we're in September now, but I'm getting closer. I'm getting more contracts that are getting signed. So
Yep.
it's 4 more months, right? 4 more months. What can you do in 4 more months? I don't know what market you're in, but guess what?
You can do
Here
a
in New
lot.
York, we deal with condos, co-ops, and residential sales. So what does
That's
that
it.
mean? These deals can happen in the next 30, 60, or 90 days. They can even happen in the next whatever's after 90 days, 120 days, right? 4 months. 4 months, right?
But do
4 months.
you have? Is it something you guys were willing to share? Because it was customized to breaking it down really to daily activities, right?
Yeah, all the way
Yeah.
broken down to look. I'll read it, and I'm
It was
sorry
it.
giving you my back, but yeah, it's broken down all the way from minimum expenses, from budget, gross over
Yep.
the next 12 months, how much I'm trying to make, average commission transactions in the area.
Yep.
In order to achieve my goal, I will have to close 23 transactions. I'm getting up to 17. I think I'm up
If
to
you have the
17.
blank one, share it. I
I
guess
gotta see.
share
I
the
gotta.
love.
I
I
think
know
I have a
Israel
blank somewhere.
created it, so I know
Yeah, I
Israel
gotta
probably has
see.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
If anything, you could
I've
share
been
it on
working
the
with
video
somebody else.
once we post it. But
And
Yeah.
if you guys, maybe we should do an agent toolbox just on that one Thursday, an hour and a half to really work this and
That's
help.
yeah.
that would
I
make
mean,
sense.
if it's
Right
gonna turn into that, it sounds like a
in
business plan.
September.
Yeah.
I think it's
Yeah.
Yeah.
not necessarily a business planning because we lose a
No,
lot
but
of
at least
people on the
that,
business
yeah.
planning part. This right here, we could break this down, right? Like if you walked up to the next agent and say, "Hey, how many deals are you trying to close next year?"
Yep.
Right? I'm sure they're gonna tell you a number, right? So
Yep.
that's all we need. All we need to do is how many deals you're trying to close next year. This is the number. Okay, let's write that down, right? What are you trying to make as your average commission? What is your average commission? Boom, we already write that number down.
That's it.
So now we start to break that down. We don't necessarily have to turn it into the
My case,
why
you're
and what
on
is it
for an
that you want to
agent
make.
toolbox.
You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, the motivation we gotta just speak about that. It's what is gonna motivate you to achieve your goal, right?
Right.
We already heard the
Absolutely.
whys. We know we need to create a why, right? So this is my rant for the last 2 minutes. Here we go. We already created a why,
You
right?
got 30 seconds.
We need to understand that hey, there's actions to get us there, right? So we need the motivation, right? What's
Yes.
the motivation going to do? Create the action. What's the action going to do? Create results. And you know what happens when you get more results? You get more motivation, which causes you to create more action, which gets you more results. So
Yeah.
what does it become? A triangle. You're literally hitting one point from another to another. It's three things that we have to go through. The question is, what's going to motivate you, right? Right? For me to get from point A to point B, what's going to motivate me? So we need to figure that part out. The second thing is what? Action. Well, now that I have the motivation, now I'm putting the action behind it, right? Now I'm getting referrals. Buyers are calling, sellers are calling, people are reaching out. Now guess what? Now I'm more motivated because it's creating more success. So what am I going to do? I'm going to keep drilling down on it. I already have my goals written out. Once we sit down at this year's business plan, I'm going to freaking double that shit. Right. And guess what? I'm going to shoot for it because that's what it is. The motivation, the action is already in play.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
Now, I didn't start this way. Everybody knows that. And I'll say it again. And here's where I'll finish it. First year in real estate, I made $600 in a rental deal. That was my first year in real estate. But after that, I cleared out almost 30 or 40 grand. And the funny part about it is I never cashed any of those checks. Now, I was working on the side, but I didn't focus on the money. I focused on the work behind it. Granted, got distracted.
Absolutely.
COVID happened, things happen, life happens. But guess what? We still have another day, September 2nd, today. I know it's Labor Day weekend, but like Israel staying back to hammer it down for the weekend. He knows that this weekend, he's probably going to make some money. Not probably, he will.
He will be making some money.
Find a seller is going to stumble into one of his properties. Like, you know what I'm trying to sell. So that's the way we got to look at it. And if it doesn't happen, no big deal. It'll happen again later.
All right, that's it. We're done. Half hour is done.
You went overtime on that one. You went overtime. It's okay.
Sorry, but that felt good.
Don't ever be, man.
That is excellent. All right, I think you guys, we need to put together a little workshop because this is.
I think that's a good idea.
Power nuggets that you guys are giving. I mean, this is. I love you. I love the both of you because you're able to complement each other. We're able to think along the same way, and you're just doing it. It's amazing. Love it. Yes.
Keep going. Go strong.
So, guys, watch this back again and again. And we're done for today. Next week is
thank you. Who's
the
Facebook
rest
user?
Of your year.
MVP.
Let's see who Facebook user is. Hold on.
Okay.
All right. So our most valuable poster is Melody. Let's go. That's all Melody right there. There was this one guy that posted good morning. His name is Ed Penn.
Thank you, Melody.
Thanks for tuning in. We appreciate your attention.
Happy holidays to everyone.
Thank you so much, guys. Enjoy Labor Day. Be careful. All right. If you're out on the water, wear a life vest. If you're out on land, wear a helmet. And if you're going to open houses, be kind to the agents. All right.
Yes.
Absolutely.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in.
Peace out.
Bye.
Bye.